Welcome to the Successful Nonprofits Bonus Break. I'm your host, Dolph Goldenberg. The bonus break is a short episode you can listen to while taking a coffee break and get the added bonus of making you and your nonprofit more successful. Produced as a companion to our longer Successful Nonprofits podcast, the bonus break covers all of the topics you care most about: professional development, fundraising, governance, board relations, marketing, tech, and more. Today's bonus break is the 7th part of a series about strategic planning. We won't review all of the prior bonus breaks in this series, but you will definitely get more out of this one if you download and listen to the first 6. In the last bonus break, we reviewed all the steps for having a great strategic planning board retreat. Now, with the board retreat behind us, it is time to draft your actual strategic plan. You and the work group have done a lot to prepare for this moment, though if you've done all the work outlined in the preceding bonus breaks, the strategic plan pretty much writes itself. In fact, the finish line is clearly in sight, and you can probably finish the plan and get the board to vote on it in the next 7 to 8 weeks. Let me stop here, though, and tell you a secret. I recorded this bonus break about writing your strategic plan once, and then I completely scrapped it. Literally, I deleted the file. And do you know why? Because it felt to me like it was just full of consultant speak. What's more, I was boring myself while recording it, and I am a nerd who normally gets excited about strategic planning. So I did what I always do when I get frustrated and I have a creative block. I went for a run. I ran for about 5 miles, and I pondered how to easily describe the process for writing your strategic plan. And my message is now quite simple. Structure your strategic plan like a snowman, and not one of those short 2 snowball figures. I mean the classic 3 snowball figure. The head of the snowman is the smallest, but actually defines the figure's anthropomorphic. And inside that head, you will include an executive summary of about a page and a table of contents on the second page. The executive summary should list the mission, vision, core values, big bold goal, and strategic annual goals in a pleasing and easy to read format. Again, you want to design this executive summary so there's a lot of white space on the page and it looks good. The table of contents, which is also in the head of the snowman, should list the sections inside the other 2 parts of the snowman. In the middle or torso of the snowman, you will summarize all of the work done by the work group and at the board retreat. So you'll explain the planning process, you'll thoroughly explore the results of your environmental scan, unveil your big bold goal and the high-level annual goals. And not surprisingly, 90% of this material will have been included in your PowerPoint presentation to the board retreat. So you have an outline and lots of charts and graphs to include if you just open up that PowerPoint presentation and copy and paste. And the base of the snowman will include the work you completed after the board retreat. This work is typically done by the work group with a lot of help from the consultant and staff, and it includes the tactical plan for achieving your goals, a realistic multi-year timeline, a multi-year staffing plan, a multi-year projection of income and expenses, and of course, an outline of how you will raise the money necessary to implement the strategic plan. So what you see on the head is the summary. What you see in the torso is all of the strategic analysis and strategic work you did in the plan. And then what you see in the base is the work that you will be doing in the future. So those goals, those annual goals, those realistic timelines, your staffing plan, your income and expense, and also your fundraising plan. And that's really how you're going to judge the success of the early achievement of your plan after the first quarter and the second quarter and the third quarter. You're going to look and see, are we on track to accomplish those things that are in the base of the snowman? I've written a companion blog post at the Successful Nonprofits blog site that will share more detail about each of these sections. But with this structure, the snowman structure, and a bit of ingenuity, you can write a great strategic plan. While we're talking about drafting your strategic plan, I want to say a word about length. Most of the strategic plans I draft are typically very detailed and about 25 to 35 pages. And the snowman structure with a small head, mid-sized torso, and big base actually describes the amount of real estate each section takes up in my plans. Now, some consultants believe that plans should be much shorter and should be just your goals and strategies and tactics for achieving those goals. And this would be perfectly sufficient if strategic plans were only internal documents and if you were never going to have any leadership changes. But most foundation funders, many government funders, and a few major donors will ask you for a copy of your strategic plan. And when you hand them that plan, the document should support your fundraising efforts by fully demonstrating the process and assumptions in creating the plan. It should also include the planned revenue, expenses, and income for implementing the strategic plan so that A, funders can see why you are asking for the amounts that you're asking. B, funders can also then assess your organization's progress in implementing the plan based on where you are in that multi-year pro forma. And what's more, a more thorough strategic plan also becomes an important part of your organization's transition plan. So when new leadership is recruited, they can better understand the theory of change behind the strategic plan, and this will really help with their onboarding process. That's our bonus break for this week. Again, if you want more detail about each of the sections, check out the Successful Nonprofits blog, which you can access at successfulnonprofits.com and also at the Goldenberg Group. This bonus break and the Successful Nonprofits podcast is produced by the Goldenberg Group as part of our mission to provide board development, strategic planning, and interim leadership to help nonprofits thrive in a competitive environment. Be sure to visit our podcast website at successfulnonprofits.com or find me, Dolph Goldenberg, at successfulnonprofits.com, goldenberggroup.com, on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And if you think your organization is ready to begin strategic planning, reach out to me. I'm recording this in April of 2017, and I am currently booking new engagements for the summertime about the July-August timeline. So right now is a great time to get on my July or August consulting calendar. Thanks for joining us for this bonus break, and I hope you gain some insight to help your nonprofit thrive in a competitive environment.
I am not an accountant or attorney, and neither I nor the Goldenberg Group provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been provided for informational purposes only, is not intended to provide, and should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. Always consult a qualified, licensed professional about such matters.